Welcome back to our Midco Sports Network Player of the Year special for high school basketball. We now move to Class A, where many people thought it was the strongest class in recent history. So here's a look at the finalists. This is the biggest field of finalists of all the classes. Aaron Feegan led the state champion Madison Bulldogs in scoring. Fried Ell was hurt part of the year, but came back in a huge way with 25 points per game. Trevor Hanson and Trevor Olson of Sioux Valley were a dynamic duo from Volga, both averaging over 20 a game, and AJ Plitzewhite, who torched teams all season long, averaging an astounding 33 points per game. That is more than a point a minute. I never did that.
That's
did you
how
ever
you
do
get
that?
it done. In 1 minute, I've done it before, but that's about it.
All right, Dandy, a lot of great players to pick from. How did you break this one down?
Yeah, you said it. This class is loaded with great players. Class A is maybe the strongest they've been in a long, long time. There were 3 or 4 teams in Class A that I think could compete in the AA ranks and compete at a very high level. The players were the same way, a ton of them. Let's start with Aaron Feegan, the only Division I basketball player in boys basketball in South Dakota this year, and he played his up to it. He is a big guy who can take his game outside and shoot. He's a great defensive player, and he played with 2 other really good scorers in Jaden and Jackson Yonke, yet still managed to find a way to score 18 points per game. Unbelievable player. Aaron Feegan, they're going to like him in Brookings. How about Fried Ell? This guy was injured part of the season, but he would score in bunches, and he could do it off the bounce. He could do it posting up. He could do it from the outside. This is a guy who's very versatile, had a great sophomore season last year, and this year in limited play scored 25 points per game and led T all the way back to the championship game. He was a huge part of this T, and there he does on defense as well, but a huge part to their run in the state tournament. But how about this guy, Trevor Hanson, a guy who's going to Augustana next year, and this guy is basically what you want out of your 6'9" guy. A guy who can dunk the ball on the inside, deflect shots obviously on defense, but he also can get out on that three-point line and hit big shots from the outside. He's going to be a tremendous, tremendous player in the NSIC for Augustana, and led the program in dunks. I love that they keep track of career dunks, but he is the all-time leader at Sioux Valley in dunks. Let's take a look at his teammate, Trevor Olson. Speaking of dunker on the inside, but you got another 20-point scorer from the outside. He led the team in three-pointers this year. Really hard to have 2 players on the same team score 20 points a game, but these 2 worked so well together, got their team back to the state tournament where they're used to. Great year for Trevor Olson. And now let's wrap it up with the least climactic award in the entire state. The Gatorade Player of the Year, AJ Plitzewhite. How can he average 34 points per game against legit? And look at this defense, by the way. He saw this kind of defense all year long, where people are standing away from the ball, double teaming him, and he still finds a way to get 30-plus points per game. A great distributor. You see him take the charge right there on defense. He does a little bit of everything so well, and he's going to be a great player in the NSIC as well. Obviously, both of his parents as coaches really helps his basketball IQ, and that's another thing. Every time you talk to people about this guy, they can't talk for more than 2 sentences without talking about his basketball IQ to go with it. So congrats to AJ.
Well, it helps so much. I mean, it's one thing to be athletic like he is, but to have that IQ, you can really set yourself apart, especially when you're getting double team, triple team.
And that's where he picks up those assists and all those rebounds. He's such a great player.
All right, congrats to AJ Plitzewhite. Let's go to the girls' A finalists right now. 4 finalists in this one. Morgan Capsule capped off a fantastic career, getting her team to the state tournament for the first time since McCook Central and Montrose started co-oping. Hallie Melstead set school records at Vermilion and took the Tanagers to state again this year. Madison Blastuin continues to score and develop into one of the most promising young players in the state for Lennox, and Lexie Wodsworth of Hamlin had success each of her years of varsity basketball, but her averages of 19 and 10 this year were her best. So, Midco Sports Network Class A Girls Player of the Year, Jandy. Let's talk about him.
So for as obvious as the boys' Class A was, this one was not obvious at all. These 4 players, I mean, really just a few stats here and there separate the best from the almost best. So let's get started by looking at some video of some of these players. And we'll start off with one of the best players in the state. This is Hallie Melstead, who posts people up but could shoot from the 3 and really took a young team, and it really takes a special senior to meld in with a team like that and beat them from outside, the all-time leader in Vermilion in three-point baskets. Great year for Hallie Milstead. Also want to talk about Madison Vlastuin of Lennox. Now, she had a great freshman season, took her team all the way to the finals, didn't have the team success this year, but 17 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game for the future Jackrabbit. Decided to go to D1 basketball with her first offer as a freshman and had a great second year as a sophomore. We're going to hear a lot more from Vlastuin as the next 2 years progress. But I also want to talk about Lexie Wodsworth. Probably doesn't get enough pub. We got to see her in person at this Madison Classic, and she had 27 points in that game, took over in the second half. Such a solid player from the high post, from the low post. Lexie Wodsworth, like you said, had her best season. She's been really solid for the last 4 years. And then we've got to talk about Morgan Capsule. Now, this is a girl who you wouldn't look at and say is the best player on the court, but she brings the ball up and can muscle people down in the post. So a great pass right here to her sister, and helped the team success this year by winning in their region, winning at the round of 16, and then she came back and got her team to state and won a game at state because of her intense play, and she gets the nod as our Girls A Player of the Year. A slow start this season for the Cougars, but they made a great run, and she had a lot of heroics on the way to that great run. So the 15 points per game, the great rebounding, double-digit rebounding, and just a great field goal percentage make Morgan Capsule the future Black Hills State player, our Player of the Year in Class A.
All right, congratulations. Well, next on the show, it's the last class, but definitely not least, we're on to our Players of the Year for the South Dakota Class B boys and girls. You don't want to miss this. Stay right here.